This is Joseph Hawthorne, and you're listening to Estimates, the official Booster Club podcast of the U.S. Census, the only podcast in 2020 that counts.
The only one.
You didn't It was a good line.
We're bookending the movement.
Okay.
We're estimating that only this podcast will survive.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear my full line?
The only
one that counts.
Podcast that counts.
Yeah. All right.
It's a good line. It's a good line.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, now
As a
we're
host,
joined by
the dramatic pause, that's a risk you take. I'm just going to say.
As a guest, you have to let me take those risks. Wait, no, you're also, I guess you're, what would you all consider yourselves? Would you say you're permanent guests or co-hosts?
I'm a boarder.
Okay, all right. That's Mavi. Who else is in the audience tonight?
This is Rob Tej. I would assume that I'm like a fringe state, often on, but sometimes off. I would go for Upper Colorado, in terms of the watershed states.
Oh my God.
Yep. Now you got to edit in all our pre-show stuff.
Ooh, wait. Can we make a flashback noise right now?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's the flashback noise.
Flashback.
Okay, and you know what people love about this show? The lack of small talk. So let's get right into the show. Hamilton is also here too, but I'm not going to let him
Yeah, he doesn't have a role
us.
in our household.
Okay, so does anyone remember what we talked about last week?
Is the unappreciated mom. No.
Okay, well, you guys are going to love these. So the first one was, or the second one rather, I'm going to start backwards, was a little bit more tame. It was how much mail fraud, or mail crimes rather, were committed in 2019. And our range, let me just pull this up. Oh God. Was we thought there were between 500 million and 10 billion mail crimes committed per year in the United States.
What? I don't even understand how you got to that number.
Well, okay, if you were in here last week, why don't you do a quick little estimate? Less than a
Sure.
minute. Just right in there.
Yeah, how many mail crimes in all of the United States over the course of a year? I would say, let me think. How many packages or how much mail gets sent in a year? I'm going to just throw out probably around 500. I'd probably say around like a billion, at least, letters or packages are sent over the course of a year, minimum. And then even if we go high estimate, 5% of that being there being a crime involved in that's 5 million.
Well,
Okay.
A billion seems extremely low to me.
You're
Just
right.
3 pieces of mail per person. That might work on like a per hour basis.
Yeah, I've only gotten 3 pieces of mail in my life, so
I see.
Well,
All right, Joe, did you do some research on this?
I did, in fact, do some more research, as opposed to the research we do during the show. And so, we also asked ourselves how many types of mail crime do we think there were? And we said between 15 and 30 types of mail crime. Would you believe that there are 200 statutes of possible mail crime?
I would believe it.
Including multiple forms of assault, of which last year there were 800 prosecutions for mail assault.
Hell yeah. Like a boxing glove and a wind-up toy. You open the package and boom. Or, wait, a glitter bomb. A glitter bomb might be assault.
Glitter bomb is
Anthrax?
assault,
yeah, anthrax.
Anthrax is definitely assault.
It's mail poisoning.
Yeah,
it's mail chemical warfare.
Does having a dirty bomb go off in a city count as assault? Would someone be prosecuted for assault?
Sorry, it's under the jurisdiction of the mail boys. There's
the
nothing
mail
we can do.
person
It's
need
assault.
to get hurt for it to be an assault, or does the recipient need to get hurt?
These are the kind of questions we really asked ourselves. But so I found that in 2019 there were a bit over 12,000 people indicted and or convicted of mail crimes. Now, many of these were charged with numerous crimes. So
repeat offenders.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess recidivism is strong in the male prison community. But I think we're looking at least in the hundreds of thousands of male crimes prosecuted, and then there have to be many more that are investigated, or there's a lot of like scamming with old people that the mail service was talking about. So we can definitely multiply that by a few degrees, and I think the range is going to be in the millions.
And of course, this doesn't
crimes.
take into account the mail crimes being perpetrated by the Postal Service. You know what I mean? Which will never be investigated.
Go on.
I'm a mail truther.
Yes.
I'd like to encourage all our listeners to send in their mail crimes so that we can get a more accurate count. Yeah.
I will say that I know someone that works in the post office, and just based on their stories, a lot of the people working in the post office take all of the coupon mails that go out, so they just have an overflow of coupons that they can then use at to buy things for much cheaper than they normally would be.
Honestly,
there you go. There you go.
$1 billion right there. That's
all right. Well, in 5 episodes, when you've forgotten that you said that, I'm going to ask you who your friend who works in the postal service.
I don't want to reveal that.
Call back.
Waiting.
another interesting statistic, just to give us, Joey, you maybe were going to mention this. Apparently, in 2019, there were 150 billion instances of mail by the U.S. Postal Service, and that's just the U.S.
Oh, okay, that's a good number.
So, I mean, by your sort of extrapolation, Tej, it's, a billion might actually be,
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking at like jaywalking crimes, like looking at other people's mail or slightly opening it. The ones that never get prosecuted.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tej. We should point that out, that we figured that the very normal activity of like opening your spouse's mail, because that's just what you do as a household. That's technically a mail crime, right? If your name's not on it, yeah.
Technically, I mean, so were you estimating all mail crimes or just mail crimes that were prosecuted?
No, all mail crimes.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Okay, but the more important question that we have to get to now, which our dear listeners will definitely have remembered because this was very controversial, was how many occurrences of someone in South Vietnam wearing a Spider-Man costume were there?
Remind us of the time period.
Oh, sorry, 2019.
It was like
pre-COVID.
summer, right? Summer,
yeah.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah, summer of 2019. We said between... Well, okay, Mavi and Hamilton were around the 10 to 30 range, and I went up to 300 occurrences.
So
of people
over the course of a year.
Sorry, a summer.
Over the course of a summer.
The summer season. We don't know the limits of the Vietnam summer season. That's another.
We don't. And Joey, I'm assuming you have an exact number for us.
Well, I have a few factors here.
Tej, do you want to give us a quick estimate before we get in here?
Of how many?
15 seconds.
Of how many people were wearing a Spider-Man costume?
Yeah, you're counting each person's, like, someone wears a Spider-Man costume to one event. That's one.
If they wear to a different event,
that's two.
That's two. Yeah. Got it. Over the course of a summer in 2019, Spider-Man came, like one of the Spider-Man movies came out in 2019, so I bet it's popular. I would say birthday parties, I would say around
6.
45.
3. Okay, 45. It's certainly within our range.
Well, guys,
more than that, way more than that, actually.
We factored in a lot of things. We factored in, we factored in birthday parties. We factor in, advertising for business. We factored in protests. That was a big thing for Hamilton. And in fact, Hamilton, I did find an instance.
You're overplaying that a bit, but okay.
I found an instance of a Spider-Man protest where there was a boy.
Spider-Man protest?
Well, it was just one boy, okay. But he was he was wearing a Spider-Man costume in protest of a train like ordinance. He was in the tracks. Now I found a few instances that already are starting to creep up on the 10 limit. Things like people gathering, like birthday parties we're talking about, I found a YouTube series of Vietnamese Spider-Man versus two Venoms, which was apparently a popular fight. I'll put that in the show notes, so we don't have time to watch all of these. But Tej makes a very good point that in 2019, a Spider-Man movie was just coming out in the summer.
Ooh.
So I'm going to share something
Didn't
I found.
consider that, did we?
No, we didn't.
We were too interested in textile.
Manufacturing, the modeling thereof.
Just all the models taking photos for online websites
in
Spider-Man costumes.
Not even for the websites, just a visiting potential client is coming. You gotta rustle up a few people to put on the costumes.
Now, can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you'll see,
well, no, our listeners can't. By the way,
I know.
Right,
Sometimes
okay.
you have to describe a little something. So there's a little scene where a happy woman is playing with her family as they eat Spider-Man Oreos together. They're very happy. But what's more important is the next video I'm going to show you.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Which
In this
is-
video, we're currently watching a dance at a public location, promoting the movie that Tej mentioned, and there are perhaps dozens of Spider-Men.
So
At least, wow.
Our estimate, basically. Our myself and Mavi's initial
that's
estimate.
There's 50 there right now.
Yeah, it seems like the Spider-Man film and Oreo had some kind of partnership that resulted in a lot of Spider-Man costumes in Vietnam.
Yeah.
If this happened multiple nights, we're already hitting Joey's number.
Joey, do you have these events pegged to where in the country they occurred?
That was Ho Chi Minh City,
Uh,
aka Saigon.
I see.
Yeah.
Only 233 views? This is amazing.
Yeah. Very
Yeah, well,
impressive.
That's how normal wearing Spider-Man costumes in South Vietnam is. Now, I also don't know how you factor in, but there was a Spider-Man mini-series or limited run series of comics that were based during the Vietnam War. So I don't know what universe those Spider-Men fall into. But if that counts as one Spider-Man or hundreds. But the point is that I was right and you were wrong about the number of hundreds of Spider-Men available.
If I may
Okay.
propose a counter argument, I'd say you've outdone yourself to the point where you are now lowballing it with the rest of us.
That's true. That's true. We did.
That's right. They must have practiced for that event we just saw, which is, already.
Yeah.
And that was during the summer. That was in July.
Yeah, it's not like it was any of those people's first time putting on the costume.
Definitely not.
They were all trained professionals, experts in the field.
They
Of
did a lot of
costume
prop
wearing.
work with giant Oreos as well. That's later on. And again, we'll share that in the show notes. But suffice it to say that Spider-Man is alive and well in the southern part of Vietnam. Now, moving on to the meat of today. Does anyone have questions they've been dying to get off their chest?
I have a question that's near and dear to my heart, and I'd like to ask it now. I've prepared myself ritually for this question. Longtime listeners of the show will know that this is something that's on my mind. I'm going to need a place. I think I'm just going to give you guys a place. Let's talk Brooklyn. How many people in Brooklyn, since the beginning of the quarantine orders, those stay-at-home orders, the whatever, the mask, whatever public ordinances, I don't know what ordinance is. Ordinance is an explosive. Since the beginning of the quarantine, how many days have gone without teeth being brushed? How many people days? One person, one day, no brushing. How many of that has occurred?
Out of the difference between what they would
No,
normally would have
not a
done, or
difference.
just okay.
Sheer number of people days without teeth brushed. You don't brush your teeth one day, that's one. Tej doesn't brush his teeth the same day, that's two.
So counting the population of Brooklyn, over the course of those number of days, which is
Okay,
March
well-
14th.
And this is a full 24 hours, not because most people brush their teeth in the morning and at night. So if you brush even one of those times, then you are exempt from this.
That's a fair call out. Yeah, we're going to say from midnight to midnight. And if you're brushing your teeth at midnight, I guess that counts for both days. However, that affects your calculus.
Oh my God. That wildly changes my assumption.
Joey has got mute.
I'm stunned. Well, so how many people are there in Brooklyn? About 2.5 million?
Something like that, yeah.
All right. So when we're starting with at least 2.5 million cases, right? That's like the lowest possible is the average of like one person.
Mhm.
Each person has not brushed their teeth at least one day.
I don't know, maybe.
I'm telling you, Mavi. I know the human psyche.
Yeah, that's a fair enough assumption.
And again, controversial take for this show, but we are indeed counting children as people.
That's right, that's right.
That's
Wait, what?
something not everyone does, but
But only the ones with teeth that are to be brushed, you know?
right. What if someone
right,
brushes
okay.
for them?
That counts. That's a toothbrushing.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So I'd say there's just any person that always brushes their teeth, like myself, I'm very good with dental hygiene because I have to go on podcasts and I have to record myself.
You don't want everyone smelling breath.
Exactly. So then for every instance of that, there is certainly someone that has not brushed their teeth 2 days or 3 days. There's always someone to make up for the hygienic people out there. So, but I think it's going to be a little bit more than one day per person. I'm going to go up to, let's say, 5 million people days. I think that there's an average of 2 because there are some people who hate brushing their teeth. Some people who avoid it like the plague. And now that, they have even less reason to go out, smell good, be judged by their dentist, things like that. People who, may be sick and who just they don't want to get out of bed. They don't want to brush their teeth. So I'm going to say 5 million.
5 million. All right. How about you guys? 5 million still seems rather low to me. Just 2 per person.
Yeah. So I think there are definitely a lot of people out there that will brush their teeth at least once a day. I mean, myself included, or at least I try to. But I've definitely gone a day or 2 without brushing over the quarantine. Definitely separate instances, though, like not 2 days together. But I'm sure there's people that do that as well. So I think it will average out. The people that don't brush their teeth will definitely take care of the people that do. And I think because it's quarantine, I'm going to overestimate on that. There are multiple people that, because there's no reason to go out, there's no reason to have anyone smell your breath, they're just not going to do it. I'm going to say 2 to 3 million. I'm going to say 10 million.
10 million, okay.
I want to go lower, to be perfectly honest. I want to go lower than the initial 2.5 million.
What?
Because, well, I mean, I might have to think this through a little bit, but I mean, yeah, sure. I've gone days where my morning was hectic and I just I woke up and I had to immediately go to work, or I get drunk one night and I'm just in bed and I'm not. But either I will brush my teeth at night or I will brush my teeth in the morning. It's very rare that it goes completely unbrushed from a midnight to midnight period. And I feel like that's going to be true for most people. I feel like, I mean, maybe once in a 4-month period for each person. I guess it must be. But even still, I don't think that's happened to me so far.
I gotta tell you guys, I've lost track of the number of days I haven't brushed my teeth. Today, in preparation for not brushing my teeth, in preparation for asking this question, I specifically didn't brush my teeth this morning. I may later in the day.
Okay, so it's at least
Trying
one.
to juice the number? Is that what you're saying?
Sorry,
Trying to make us
say?
look stupid? You're trying to juice the number?
Yeah, that's right. I jiggied it a little bit. I was like, oh, whatever they guess, it'll be one more. Secretly.
Mavi's actually been working on this question for months. I mean, he's been preparing by not brushing his teeth.
That's right. I've stored a few up.
I'm just gonna say whatever the population of Brooklyn is, which we've decided is 2.5 million, I would say it happened once. Some people, like for each person, on average.
Wow. Incredible. So
I think a lot of people are very on point about this and will at least have gotten it on the back end or the front end. But probably haven't missed both. So 2.5 million with, I think, marginally like insignificant numbers for people who miss multiple days.
Well, it seems like we're all basically guessing ourselves times 2.5 million people. And based on that, I'm going to say that you're all grossly underestimating the number.
So, no, I have reasoning behind mine. I think that even if you say like half of the people in Brooklyn, right? Let's go with 3 million just to make it easier. Half the people in Brooklyn have spent, if they spend at least one day not brushing. That's a reasonable assumption, right? And I think that would make up for the other population, the other half of Brooklyn that actually does brush every day, right? If that's the case, then there's a small minority of people that are spending multiple days not brushing or like taking a break, only brushing once over 3 or 4 days.
I got to tell you, I think that's a lot of people, even outside of quarantine time.
Can I get an estimate on that, like percentage?
That's insane.
I don't know actually. I genuinely don't know what that number is. I assume it's low, but I could also see it being like 20% to more.
You're asking for a percentage estimate on how many people regularly
chronic
don't brush their teeth?
non-brushers.
People who brush their teeth less than an average of once a day, even outside of quarantine times. It's an interesting question. A counter estimate.
I'm just so disgusted that I was even upset to put 5 million. But on the other hand, thinking about all the people that I like think are grosser than me. This is like really
exactly.
my
You're
faith
three
in
fastidious people.
Yeah. Jeez. I will go up to 10 million because like I just don't. I don't know about this country. I want to believe, but maybe when Trump's out of office, I feel like maybe it'll go down. Because like I do think the president goes like days without brushing his teeth. I think that like
sure.
But I do think that like because Joe Biden is like losing his marbles, they do have people that like brush for him. So I'm gonna say 10 million. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not one to complain about media bias, but this is very inappropriate for the census.
Yeah.
Wait, is the census media?
I'm going to take that Donald Trump media bias poll now. I have to report this.
I think you're right in that. I don't think the number of people will change that aren't brushing their teeth. The number of people not brushing their teeth won't change with the president, but our optimism towards the number of people will definitely change.
Yeah, that's the real question: is how many? What do other Americans, think this number is?
Yeah,
this is like a Family Feud style situation.
Guys, I got to be honest with you. I've thought on it, and I'm going to say that my estimate for the percentage of people who regularly skip days is above 50%. I think most people. I think
That's
most people.
Impossible.
Most people have an average of less than 7 brushes per week.
What the hell is wrong with you?
That's impossible.
Brushless days, not like
yeah, brushless days.
They miss the morning and the night and anything in between.
Yeah. I'm really excited to do some research on this topic.
That's
oh
insane.
my god, this makes me so sick. We gotta give me your lightning round. We gotta move on here. Does anyone have a lightning round question?
Okay,
Yeah.
let's just for the purposes of recording, what are the ranges that we've got?
I said 10. 10 million.
And what was the minimum? What was the lowest estimate?
I said 2.5. Which might be a little low.
2.5 to 10 million is our guess for number.
And Mavi, what did you say?
Well, as the question asker, I'm not part of this, but my guess would would easily be in the dozens of millions.
God.
I think
my
that makes
God.
sense.
Jeez.
Like I can't disagree with any of these answers. I don't know. There's so
Well,
much I don't know.
This time next week, we will have the answers. We will
True.
report them to the people of America.
Okay. Does anyone have a lightning round question?
Yeah, I've got something. So I've been thinking about this for a while, because years ago Mavi asked me for this as a gift. Oh wait, I probably shouldn't say that. How many?
Well,
I never gave it to him.
Yeah, how many EMPs do you think went off in in the U.S. Over the last year?
Over the
What
last
is an
year,
EMP
like
again?
over the last 365 days?
No, let's say 2019.
2019,
Oh, good,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID electromagnetic pulses, Joey, is what we're talking about. We're talking about devices made to disable electronics.
would a nuke count?
Okay.
And the subsequent EM?
Ooh, yes, nuclear
There
explosions
is a
can be-
nuclear electromagnetic pulses. Yeah, those are things.
That's right.
Just okay. So how many nukes went off last year?
I don't know. Are they
7.
testing?
I have no idea.
Like, they must be testing, whether we know about it or not. But on the other hand, what is there to test? We figured it out. Oh, it blows stuff up. The dust goes. No, we got it.
You have such more faith in our knowledge of nuclear power and nuclear explosions than you do in our ability to brush our teeth. What does that say about America?
Listen, we're getting lazy as we learn more and more things. We don't have to put in as many days at the nuke factory anymore. What's even the point of brushing your teeth in the morning? Is my point. Okay, how many EMPs? All right, we got to count. Here's what we're counting. We're counting elaborate bank heists. We're counting nuclear explosions. We're counting efforts to breach the, isolated computer banks. You know what I mean? You gotta break down a security system, steal a server, something like that. I guess that's also a heist. Elaborate heists, there are a lot of them. Not just bank heists, all kinds of things going on. Anything I'm missing here?
I think you are missing something. As the question asker, I don't want to say a lot, but I will say that there are EMPs that are put in place for a productive purpose. Power line surges and things like that have EMPs on them. There's electric motors. Electric motors have especially for trains and things. Their EMPs are a thing to stop all functionality very quickly for a purpose.
Like the radius of that would be what, like 10 meters or something, or like micro EM, like nothing like huge.
I mean,
which is what I think of normally.
It would be. I'm assuming it would be closed circuit, so just affect the train, but it would still be an EMP.
Let me ask you a question for those of us who are experts in this topic. Was there an EMP in one of the Ocean's films?
Yes.
Is that a plot element?
Yes.
Just
Yes.
one or multiple Ocean's films EMPs?
I
Just
think
one.
there were at least
Just
two.
one? Two?
I thought there were two.
Okay.
Well,
one
there were
to
two EMPs in the movie, but it
Okay.
was the one movie.
One movie
Okay.
with two EMPs. And how many
Yeah.
Ocean's films have there been?
3.5.
And one. Yeah, there's a new one, but that's essentially a sequel, but not a sequel. So
All right, so about half an EMP per Ocean's film. We can start with that estimate.
that doesn't help in any way.
It was more like a giant lava lamp, though. So, I mean,
I see. Okay, so I got to think of the types of elaborate heists that are going down. There's all kinds of corporate espionage in the fields, just in the fields, in the rolling fields. We got about 2.5 minutes left on our clock, and about a minute left on Joey's mobile generator. that he's using to record this out in the Mojave Desert. Boy. People are
Joey,
stealing.
as someone familiar with EMPs, do you wanna talk about how many you think went off in 20?